Hi, my name is Chloe Moore, and today I will be discussing why I believe musical education and performing arts should remain in schools. Some schools across the country are cutting funds for these programs to make room for advanced sciences and different English classes of the same grade level of English. And all of these truthfully wonderful classes, yes, but they're not looking at musical education as a necessity when in reality it is, regardless of if a child likes music or not, just like physical education. Not everybody likes to exercise, but we can all agree it's good for us. They plan to drop performing arts classes to make room for classes that could be measured by testing. And funds begin to go down, and the performing arts programs already have so little money, so whenever cuts need to be made, they're that easy cut. Looking at it from a principal standpoint, it makes sense that the performing arts are the first to go. Some schools see music as a waste of time. In a modern educational era plagued by exams and instant success, music seems unnecessary for a real living. In all actuality, there are so many pros to keeping musical education within our educational systems. In response to making room for more advanced classes, music actually helps to develop early language, such as in grade levels when you were playing with the recorders or playing with the boomwhackers. You don't understand at that age, but when you're making these rhythms and you're memorizing the lyrics of song and you're putting them with melodies, it makes it so much easier for our brains to process that information, so then we pick up words that we didn't know before. As stated in a list titled 20 Important Benefits of Music in Our Schools from the National Association of Music Education. If children are already speaking and comprehending things from a young age and grow into that, then surely the only classes we'll need will be advanced classes anyway. The list goes on to say that memorization is learned through music. There is no doubt that this is true with children learning lyrics, subconsciously learning melodies, and as of recently, remembering dances for certain songs, such as on the app TikTok. If a child can learn and obtain the Renegade, surely they can do the same with study guides and lectures and different forms of normal education. Doing these dances and playing instruments also contributes to hand-eye coordination, which I shouldn't have to explain why we need that in almost every workforce you could go into, whether it's a desk job where you're looking at notes and typing, whether it's a hands-on construction job where your hand-eye coordination has to be good or you're probably at risk of your health. It's incredibly important to learn, and if you pick it up at a young age with things like the boomwhackers and the recorders and even just little bongos, then it's incredibly beneficial to any child to pick that up and already have it processed in their brain so that whenever they get there as an adult, it's not going to be hard to pick up. The list goes on once more to say keeping music in schools keeps minds interested. Does it? Absolutely it does. We are raising human beings, not robots. You can't force someone or something to work for hours on end and not end up with a bad quality of life. You can't expect a grown adult to go to work every day, take away their breaks, they can eat while they work, and expect them to enjoy it. Same thing for a child, because a child is still growing, a child is still processing, and a child is still making sense of all the bits and pieces that the world is throwing at them. Imagine someone taking your breaks at your place of work. Would you be able to say you enjoy your job? You probably wouldn't, and it's the same for kids. Music for them could be a recess or a type of break that gives their mind, maybe not so much their body, depending on what they are doing, but it would give their mind time to relax and time to take that necessary break to help soak in all of the education that they've received that day. And it helps to store it, it helps to memorize it, and it helps to calm them down. Music not only helps kids engaged in school, but it helps kids keep in school. Eleanor Shute of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette wrote an article titled, "Music and Art Lessons to More Than Complement 3 Rs." She says, quote, "Students with no musical performance experience had a dropout rate of 7.4%. Students with 1 to 2 years of ensemble experience had a dropout rate of 1%, and those with 3 or more years of performance experienced a dropout rate of 0.0%, end quote. So while I understand the desire to have a super intelligent child that doesn't want to meddle with things like music and art and dance and band and orchestra, I totally understand they won't have the opportunity to be that if music isn't involved. Because with those statistics and with that research gone into it, how do we know that child is even going to stay in the educational system? We don't. Funds are being cut. What can I do? Fundraisers are what a lot of musical education programs are thriving off of right now. If you're a parent, you could speak to your local Board of Education about your concerns to see what might work for your school or county, or you could go to those teachers and say, what do you need me to do? Anything to help keep these in schools, you're helping, even if you feel like you're not. Caroline Phillips is the former executive director of the Norwalk Youth Symphony and author to article 12 Benefits of Music Education. In her list, she states, "Students of the arts learn to think creatively and to solve problems by imagining various solutions, rejecting outdated rules and assumptions. This implies that arts kids are progressive thinkers. Actually, many politicians had some involvement in music or the arts before they became the decision makers of America, such as AOC with dance, Donald Trump with acting, Arnold Schwarzenegger as acting, of course we know that one, Kamala Harris was singing in choirs all her life, Ben Carson, who has a deep passion for classical music and played it for his own students when he was a teacher, and many more are involved in these musical programs. And now they're making our decisions for us. And I want you to imagine if those weren't there, would they have the gumption? Would they have the drive? Would they have that creative outlook to look at our country and be able to shape it the way they are? Most likely not. Students without access to musical programs have a higher dropout percentage, have more anxiety, have a less creative way of thinking, have less memorization skills, and have an all-around harder time at grasping educational content. It is crucial that we keep these beloved programs in our schools. Who knows, it may just save a kid's life. Thank you.